Hello, good evening to you all. Yes, it's a bit strange for me to be broadcasting on a Saturday evening, but the JB Clark YouTube channel is back. FA Cup action for you this weekend, and this is the first of two matches that we're bringing you on the YouTube channel. Earlier today, Tottenham Hotspur quite comfortably sealed their passage to the semi-finals with a 3-0 victory over Swansea City. There were also wins in the Premier League for the likes of the 3 o'clocks for Brighton, for Bournemouth, for Crystal Palace and for Everton, but it's Manchester United and Brighton who are up against each other. As ever, you're quite welcome to comment, but the teams are just about to come out here at Old Trafford, so let's bring you the two lineups now. It's a snowy atmosphere here as the teams now emerge from the tunnel. Let's hope we can get a good view of the game. So let me give you the two lineups of this game. Manchester United starting with their regular cup goalkeeper Romero in goal. Then it's Valencia, Bailly, Small and Shaw the back four. McTominay plays. Matic, Mata and Lingard, who I've criticised on the England video. Whether or not he should be in the England squad, that's another matter. Anthony Martial gets the nod as well with Romelu Lukaku. So I think it's going to be Lingard and Martial on the flanks with Lukaku in the middle. The substitutes for Manchester United: David De Gea for them, Lindelof, Pogba, Sanchez, Young, Rashford and Fellaini. So quite a strong bench there for Manchester United. As for Brighton, they have Tinkrew in goal, and then it's Scalotto, Duffy, Duncan, Sutton at the back, Kyle, Proper, Gross, Locadia with the midfield, and Solly March in the midfield rather with Ojo up front. They've got a decent bench as well. They've got Bruno, Baldock, Mapemba, Murray, Goldson, Zagueiro, who absolutely had a storming game against Arsenal, and Sanders. The referee tonight is Andre Mariner from Birmingham. We do have VAR in the house. That's the Brighton side. This, remember, is the repeat of the 1983 FA Cup final. The year, actually, coincidentally, I was born, funnily enough, where Brighton took the lead, and then United hit back in the second half to draw level. Then Ray Wilkins scored an absolute cracking goal, one of the great cup final goals, only for Gary Stevens to pull it back to 2-2, and then Gordon Smith in the last minute had the opportunity to sink Manchester United. It went to a replay, and unfortunately for Brighton, they were beaten on the Thursday night 4-0. But there's snow on the pitch, but the game is definitely on. There's Jesse Lingard, and I have to tell you that the conditions here are very, very cold. It is a very cold day. It's more like a mid-December day than it is mid-March. There's Leonardo Ujola. And if there's any Irish people watching, well done on the Six Nations triumph today at Twickenham. You thoroughly deserve that. There's Andre Mariner, the match official. There's snow all over his head as well. And the VAR, of course, is in use. So we may have that controversy again. There has been a lot of obvious controversy about VAR in this season's FA Cup. That's just tarnished it a little bit, tarnished the enjoyment. Jose Mourinho, about 4 layers on. Manchester United, of course, in red. Brighton in the blue. They're going to attack the Stretford end. Brighton and Hove Albion in this first half. Tomorrow we've got Wigan and Southampton and Leicester and Chelsea, the other two quarterfinals. Just to remind everybody, as United get underway, attacking the goal to our right. Now, if it was to end level after 90 minutes, ladies and gents, we will have extra time, and if it's level after that, penalties. Now, on Facebook last night, I've gone for a 2-1 Brighton victory. So, and I got ridiculed by a couple of friends that are United fans soon afterwards. They thought that I was off their rocker. But on current form, United were desperately poor at Old Trafford on Tuesday night. They can't sink any lower than this, surely, this afternoon, as Valencia gets that one forward for United. Looking towards Lukaku, but it's knocked away. And knocked away again. An opportunity here now. Here's Ujola. He's through now the middle. Chance here. And Brighton taking the early initiative early on. The referee playing on here. That's a good ball inside. Now a chance to get the crossing low from the left hand side, and it's knocked out for a throw. But Brighton there making a good early fist of this with a minute gone. There's quite a lot of snow on the field. Well, we'll just have to see how the game goes. It's not often you see a game at Old Trafford abandoned as Ujola tries to break into the penalty area. It's re-signed from Brighton from Leicester City, and there he is prodding the ball out to the far side. Now the ball hooked back towards the edge of the area, and KL plays that in towards Ujula, but again, good defensive this time from Manchester United, good blanket defence, and the ball back again with Brighton once again. And I'm just looking on the camera, I'm just looking on the television monitors we've got here at Old Trafford. It is absolutely teeming down with snow. There's snow everywhere. You got Chris Hughton, the Brighton manager, knows this is a tough job for him. It's a tough ask, but on a pitch like this, Brighton will be used to more of this, the conditions. They've got more of the characters in the side to possibly do this, but it will be tricky. And I hope all the 22 players have chosen the right sort of studs for this one, because it's going to be slip sliding about. It's going to be like Bambi on ice here, so we might have an interesting cup tie here as Bowie comes forward for Manchester United. He finds Valencia on the right hand side. Valencia plays the ball back in there. McTominay is forward as well. A lot of players out there have got gloves on at the moment. Valencia again on the right hand side. Still inside the Manchester United half with 2.5 minutes gone. 0-0 in this second FA Cup quarter final. Earlier today, Tottenham quite comfortably through to the semi-finals. Three comfortable 3-0 winners at the Liberty Stadium against a very dire Swansea. And here come United with Mata on the far side. Plays it back in the field once more. Mata gets the ball back. McTominay offers a little bit of outlet now just inside the Brighton half. Mata takes over once again. Plays it out to the left hand side. And now an opportunity here may well arise here for United. And a real opportunity here as they cut inside. The shot comes in and it deflects. And it will be a corner. It was Anthony Martial who cut inside from the left, and that should be a Manchester United corner. And it is. Mata to take from the right hand side. The first goal going to be so important in a game of this magnitude here as we approach 3.5 minutes gone. The corner came in, but to no avail, and the header was out. And obviously I don't think we'll be hearing from Panini, because he's also gone live with this game as well by the looks of it too. There's Alcadia, number 25. Big sprawling player. And the ball out to play once again. So obviously the big team news. No David De Gea in goal for United. Pogba on the bench. You think after what went on Tuesday, you think that Mourinho, considering his sort of war cry before the start of the match, tonight's match, you'd have actually thought he'd have gone with his strongest possible lineup, considering this is probably their only realistic chance of any real major silverware this season, Manchester United. So that was a little bit of a surprise. And you're not missing anything. It's just a game of head tennis going on. They haven't actually met in the FA Cup since 1993 in the third round, when Ryan Giggs scored the winning goal to put Manchester United through in that game. But it's 0-0 here. Of course, I'm not too familiar with the Brighton side. I've only covered them only once this season. Twice this season. That was the win against Arsenal, and of course before that controversial game against Burnley where they got a controversial penalty. But with 5 minutes gone, nothing controversial happening here at Old Trafford. It's still Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. One ball forward, and again Solly March on the chase, but Shaw is there. Luke Shaw, in my opinion, quite unfortunate to be not in Gareth Southgate's England squad for the upcoming fixtures against Holland and Italy. And of course LTF will focus on that. We filmed it, myself and Chris Whiteman, last night, and you'll be able to see that in due course on the LTF football channel. And it's a good hour's worth of debate, I tell you, because it's the first time I think in LTF history that me and Chris have actually disagreed on something, which is quite something spectacular. But you'll be able to watch that in its entirety as soon as Chris has managed to edit the thing together and get it uploaded for you. And hopefully the FA won't take any strong action and take us off the screen. It took us off YouTube last time, for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, here's Martial down that side, and Scalotto is there, the man who was knocked almost unconscious the other week against Arsenal. Mata takes charge on the left-hand side after the penalty area. The cross gets a little deflection, which made it awkward for Tim Krul, and obviously the ball being greasy, dropped the ball. It's a greasy ball out there, obviously because of the wetness of the pitch and the snow on there and everything else, so conditions not really good for goalkeepers. And the deflection did make it that little bit awkward there for Tim Krul, but he got away with it. Still 0-0 here with 7 minutes almost gone here at Old Trafford in the quarterfinals of the Emirates FA Cup. And it's been brought to you by John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. All your favourite fragrances, £20 per 50 millilitre bottles. As that cross comes in, and you can access my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. I hope we won't be saying that too much to fill the time this evening, because I think this could be a good cup tie in the making here. As Dunk gets the ball over to Duffy, he's Speller centre back, and he gets the ball forward. It's a good ball in there. Now Solly March has it on the far side up towards Ujola, who's playing up front as the centre forward. They do have the likes of Glenn Murray and on the substitutes. He's got 12 goals in the Premier League this season, Glenn Murray, so he knows a little bit about that. We've brought you some real epic games in the FA Cup this season. Of course, we saw Fleetwood almost upset Leicester in our first tie of the year, and then we saw Forest upset Arsenal. We didn't cover the fourth round because I was not so good, so the fourth round wasn't covered, but in the fifth round we saw a cracking game at Rochdale where it finished 2-2 in an absolute classic. Tottenham did go on to win the replay, however, quite comfortably. And we have 2 quarterfinals, plus we'll have both semi-finals for you here on this YouTube channel in late April, and of course the FA Cup final itself in May. Do I like Everton? Well, they're not a bad team. I am actually a Burnley fan, but Everton played well against us last week. They were very unlucky not to get a draw from the game, but you know, that's the way it is. But we are covering Manchester United and Brighton, so if anyone's commenting, please keep the comments on this FA Cup, not the league or anything else. We'll bring you the scores, of course, but from earlier today at half-time. But I'm going to keep the commentary at Manchester United and Brighton today. It's the FA Cup quarterfinals. A great game in prospect. 2 good teams. Brighton performing magnificently in the league. Just 1 win away, I think, from safety. They've done magnificently well this season, if I'm being totally honest with you. And they really do have a real good edge about them. But also Manchester United underperforming. Certainly underperformed the other night against Seville in the Champions League, but they need to get back to winning ways straight away. This is an opportunity here. Cross comes in from the far side from Shaw, but it's knocked away again by Brighton. These questions are not relevant. Nice of you to join you, but those questions are not relevant to what we're covering tonight. Here's Valencia for Manchester United. Let's keep the chat going to this FA Cup, please. It's FA Cup day this weekend. We're not talking about league, we're not talking about where I'm from, we're talking about the FA Cup quarterfinals, and this one in particular, Manchester United and Brighton. I'm not going to ring the police. Anyway, here comes the cross towards the penalty area, and in comes Lukaku. I think he was fouled inside the 6-yard. He was fouling somebody inside the 6-yard box. And also, I'm sure at some point we may get the dreaded VAR. So we may well have time to fill. So get your comments in on who you think could win the FA Cup this season. They're still, obviously, Tottenham are already through today. 3-0 winners over Swansea. And of course we're covering this one, so we'll find out the second quarter finalists tonight, and then obviously tomorrow Wigan, who have been the real stars of the FA Cup this season in terms of giant killing, they're up against Southampton, who have just appointed Mark Hughes as their managers. 11 minutes gone, still 0-0 by the way here, and then of course the big heavyweight clash between Leicester City and Chelsea the Premier League champions of the last 2 years, both these sides. Leicester won it in 2016 and Chelsea of course won it last season, but have struggled. Both teams have struggled since then. Of course, Leicester now managed by Puel, and of course Antonio Conte still hanging on to his job at Stamford Bridge. They were absolutely demolished. They were absolutely demolished in that second leg, of course, in the Champions League on Wednesday by Barcelona, and Lionel Messi really stole the show in that game as Barcelona won 3-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. The ball back with Romero now for Manchester United, still 0-0 with 12 minutes gone. Remember, the game has to be settled here at Old Trafford tonight, either by 90 minutes, extra time or penalties. We do have VAR. Yes, those dreaded 3 little letters. Then, of course, so much controversy in this season's competition. Here's Mata spraying it out to Shaw on the far side. Shaw does well, traps the ball quite nicely, now plays it in to Matic. Now the ball back again with Martial. Just dropping off a little bit there, Martial. Now then, opportunity here for Valencia to come forward. And again, just biding their time here, Manchester United. Lingard now getting possession. A guy who I think should not be in the England squad, certainly on current form, but it's up to Gareth Southgate, I suppose. As much as my opinions there, you'll be able to hear the opinions of me and Chris Whiteman on LTF, on the LTF football channel. As soon as we get that on, as Proper brings that away, you'll be able to watch it on the LTF football channel. So subscribe to LTF please, as well as my own channel, and obviously give my Claret 94 a like as well, because he does say a lot of good things on Burnley. We are two Clarets always chewing the fact that we're delighted that Tarkowski and Pope have got hopefully international recognition as well. Here's Mata now, edge of the area for United, gets his shot in and hits it well wide. In fact, it was Jesse Lingard, who tried the shot, hit it well wide from about 25 yards just to the left of the penalty area, missing the right hand post by an absolute mile. And a goal kick to Brighton and Hove Albion, who are pretty comfortable. They haven't been overawed by the occasion so far. An FA Cup quarter-final, the excitement of the Cup. A lot of people don't see the FA Cup as serious as it used to be, but I'm a traditionalist and I enjoy the magic of the Cup. It's one of those great occasions where it just happens to be magical. As Brighton now come forward again, it's Scalotto, who will really impress me in the match against Arsenal. Plays it across the face of the penalty area and wide of the target. I think it was more of a cross rather than a shot from Scalotto, and he apologises straight away to his strikers. It was a good purposeful run. Goalkeeper Romero in tracksuit bottoms tonight. No, he's not in tracksuit bottoms. I think he is wearing some sort of like tracksuit bottoms underneath his shorts, and his socks up around them. And it's 0-0, and the man all in the dark kit gets it away. Romero, the cup goalkeeper for Manchester United. Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford, and of course Soccer Aid is coming back in the summer, 10th of June, before the World Cup. I'm sure a lot of you will be having a keen eye as England will take on the rest of the world in that particular fixture at Old Trafford to raise money for, of course, for UNICEF. 0-0 though, as Locadia plays it back, and Brighton still looking very, very good at the moment. I've been impressed with the way they've gone about their business this season. Here's Scalotto, who impressed me in the match we covered against Arsenal 2 weeks ago. He really ran the show. Here's Proper now. And here is Kyle. Remember earlier today, Swansea they'll top them 3 in the first of the quarterfinals. Tomorrow it's Wigan and Southampton. That's a 1:30 kick-off British time, and then at 4:30 in the afternoon, Leicester City against Chelsea. What a tie that promises to be. Then there's the FA Cup semi-final draw. Both semi-finals, of course, need to tell you at Wembley. As Brighton now come forward with Kyle, 25-30 yards out from the goal, and then the ball played back. And that's a good run now. A chance here now for number 13, Gross, to make his way in. He's been a real success story since coming from German football. But it's a Manchester United throw on the far side, level with their own penalty area. Glenn Murray, 12 goals this season. very, very unlucky in my opinion to not have been called up to the England squad, and I have strong opinions about that. And really, when you pick somebody like Danny Welbeck, who's hardly scored. Yes, he got 2 against Arsenal, but he was an out-and-out cheating getting those 2 goals. If the penalty, if that dive is to be believed, and it looked a real dive against Milan. Then I don't understand Gareth Southgate's policy. Here's a chance here now for Kyle. Tries to get his shot in. It's charged out. Kyle again will keep it going. Still 0-0 here, but Brighton having a little spell here. And here's Scalotto into the penalty area, just to the right of the penalty. Scalotto's cross is a good one towards Ujola in the centre. Still Brighton have it, and the ball's ricocheting about in that United penalty area. Here's Kyle with a header back in. They're having a real good go here, the Seagulls. They wanted a 3 kick. But the referee says no. Play on, says Mr. Mariner of Birmingham. And then Valencia, in the end, takes the heat out of the situation and gets the ball back to Romero. Manchester United 0, Brighton 0. Just over 17 minutes of the first half. I've already played. And look at this now. Lucadia now for Brighton. Tries to play the ball through. Now a chance now for Proper. Proper with a loose ball, but picked up there. Surely that's a throw there. Free kick to Brighton. Let me put something out to you folks. Who do you think is going to win the FA Cup this season? Let me know in your comments, as we see a free player, Shane Duffy, being taken out quite brutally there by Romelu Lukaku. Free kick to Brighton, about 5 yards inside the United half, in the centre circle. Ujola is forward. Locadia is forward. Free kick towards the penalty area. It's won there by Brighton. It was a free header. The ball ricocheted about, but the ball falls quite kindly for Sergio Romero, the goalkeeper, the Argentinian. And still it remains goalless here with 18 minutes gone at Old Trafford. The match live, FA Cup quarter-final, the first of 2 live games. We'll find out. You'll find out tomorrow which one will be covering. It's probably more likely to be the late game between Leicester City and Chelsea from the King Power Stadium, and that really will be an even balanced cup tie, I can assure you of that. This is Valencia now for Manchester United. Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford, and a terrific occasion it is. The FA Cup quarter-final is always a terrific game. I'll just tell you where I'm from. I'm from Burnley, by the way. I'm a Burnley fan. But we're at Old Trafford tonight for this quarter-final, as that ball comes forward once again. I don't know what that is, Jim Nicholson, but please can we just keep your comments clean and keep them good, otherwise we will have to ditch the comments again. Please can we talk about the game? 0-0 though, with a good cup tie here in the making, as Sutton comes forward for Brighton. Sutton has to play the ball back, however, to Kyle, and here's Dunk, who got the opening goal, of course, 2 weeks ago in their famous victory over Arsenal. Their first win over Arsenal, incidentally, since 1982. Brighton, of course, gunning for revenge here. What happened in 1983 when they drew 2-2 in the first leg, but unfortunately, Proper has conceded a cheap corner here for Brighton. Under no great pressure, tried to play the ball back, and he miscued it. Tried to play it back to Krul, I think, and really miscued it. United have a corner. They've taken it short here. Can they get the cross in? The cross comes in by Martial, but only as far as Valencia. Brighton got it away as far as him. And still, Matic comes forward here. Got all the big guns, of course, on the bench. I'll run through the benches a bit later on. And here comes the cross in now from the far side, and hooked away. Brighton just about getting away with it. I do go to quite a number of the games if time and money permits, and I usually sit in the James Hargreaves stand a lot of the time, neither upper or lower. I don't have a season ticket, but I do try and go to some of the home games. I've been to 3 or 4 this season, and I've been very impressed with the team and the way Burnley have played. But let's get back to the FA Cup quarter-final here from Old Trafford, because it's 0-0 here. 20 minutes, nearly 21 minutes of the first half gone. Remember, it's got to be played to a finish here tonight. No replays now at the quarter-final stage. We have VAR in operation, so we could have a bit of fun here tonight. Here's Shaw now for United, and he comes off the defender. I'm not a plastic fan. please, 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 do never accuse me of being a plastic fan. I used to be a season ticket holder, but time and money have not been on my side. I've not been on my side, and I've not been able to go to a lot of games. Do not accuse me of being a plastic fan. As that corner comes into the penalty area and headed away, I hate it when people say plastic fans. It's just... And also, I've had working commitments. I do work, and I do work on sociable hours, so don't even get that idea. Get that idea I'm a plastic fan out of my head. Here comes the cross from Balletti into the penalty area. Chance here for United. Any more comments like that, Jim, and I will actually ban everybody from commenting again. We had these comments at the start of the season, and I kept the chat off for 5 months, and I don't want to do it again. So let's keep it a little bit. Let's keep it a little bit more respectful. Halfway then through the first half, in the FA Cup 6th round, it's Manchester United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, and it's Brighton come forward once again. If I was so much a plastic fan, I'd suggest you go and listen to the Clarets match live and some of the commentaries I've done on them. And I've done quite a few delayed games because of my job. I do work, and I do work Saturdays, and I do work weekends. So sometimes I just cannot get to the games. It's all a question of time and money. Please understand that. Anyway, 0-0 here, and we're at 23 minutes of the game. And Brighton, to be fair, they've really hung on in there well. They've created 1 or 2 opportunities. And thank you, Jim. I do appreciate that comment. So thank you very much. Yes. I should also say, yes, I do a lot of work. And yes, work can be very unsociable sometimes. And as Brighton went forward, we've sort of lost the string, but we're back alive now with the game. Offside, that was the fact that the ball forward, it was offside against Scalotto. So the first offside coming after 23 minutes of really, that's been a pretty... Well, it's not been the best of cup ties, but it's not been the worst game of football I've seen. But the conditions, I suppose, the wintry conditions, not making it easy on top for the players, because there's still a bit of snow about on the pitch, which is going to make conditions really tough. But United's trying to play some football here, but Lewis Dunk just hoops it away for Brighton and Hove Albion, who have defended manfully for the first 23.5 minutes that we've been going here. And Lewis Dunk really has led by example for his team this season. There's a Brighton player down on the far side, but there's no foul. And it's Manchester United to come forward here with Matic. Into Mata. Back to Matic once again. Mourinho just knows that this is his last real opportunity of winning some major silverware this season. They're out in the League Cup. They're out of the Champions League. Beaten quite conclusively by Sevilla, who are 5th in La Liga earlier this week. Definitely well out of the title race. Some 18 points behind, some 17-18 points behind Manchester City, who are quite honestly running away with the league title at the moment. 0-0 here at Old Trafford, but Manchester United, the pressure's on them. Mourinho, I don't know if you've seen it, but he launched a 12-minute tirade on his team as we just break off for a second. Here's a chance for Cardia. For a moment then I thought he might have shot them, but he didn't. And there's a chance here for Solly March. Low across in there, and in the end, Bally having to turn it behind for a corner. And Brighton here really making hay here. First time they've really threatened the United goal, and maybe Locadia should have shot earlier from the edge of the area, and then Solly March played the ball in, and if it got through to Ujoa, I think Brighton might have had a chance there of going in front. Ujoa was perfectly placed on the 6-yard box onside, and Smalling was playing him on. Brighton's first corner, United have already had 3 from the right hand side, I should say. Here comes the corner into the 6-yard box, headed away quite comfortably by United. Then the shot comes in and over the top by Solly March on his left foot, almost into the top end of the top tier of the Stretford end, and a goal kick to Manchester United. Axmidal says, who is your second team if you have one? Well, I don't have a second English team, but I do have an Italian team. That's the second one. AC Milan, they've been my second team for quite some time. Since the 90s, of course, when Football Italia was big on the box. And AC Milan had a brilliant team with Pullet, Van Basten, right guard, Maldini. And I've always followed Milan. And one of my best mates is actually an AC Milan fan as well. And he actually coincidentally has Burnley down as his second team. So a little bit of an irony there. So that's who my second team is, and I wasn't very happy that Welbeck conned them out of the Europe either. But that's the way it is. But back in the FA Cup quarter-finals, Spurs are already there, and who's going to join them in the semi-finals? Will it be Manchester United, or will it be Brighton and Hove Albion? Watford, I could just give you a final Premier League score in case you didn't know. Earlier on today, Mo Salah scored 4 goals and Watford was soundly beaten 5-0 by Liverpool, who are having an exceptional season in the league. They've drawn Manchester City at Anfield in the first leg. That's not a relevant question. I've told you that listen, if we're going to have these questions, we're not going to... Can we just keep the comments to the quarter-final? Please, please, please. I've asked you twice, 3 times now, you guys. Let's keep the comments to Manchester United v Brighton or the FA Cup. Please, please, please. So, the question is out there. I asked the questions and you answered them. That's what the comments are there for. Who do you think will win the FA Cup? Will it be Tottenham, United, Brighton, Wigan, Southampton? Here come Manchester United though through the centre. Ball deflects away and Krul keeps it in. Martial with the shot. Will it be neither? Tottenham are already through. Manchester United or Brighton, Wigan or Southampton, or Leicester or Chelsea. Pick your 3. Oh, Scalotto is my uncle. Oh. Somebody says Jesse Lingard is rubbish. But let's just keep the comments to the FA Cup. It would be marvellous if we could just... I mean, who do you think will go through to the semi-finals? Let me know in the comment section below. Along with Tottenham, of course, who are already there. 3-0 winners at lunchtime against Swansea. It's a shame Panini's doing the match tonight, because we could do with his wit and wisdom here this evening. I'm sure you'll listen to my own commentary. He's doing his own commentary tonight. But it's Manchester United here in the 28th minute on the attack here with Shaw. Now Martial. McTominay trying to play the ball through. Oh, he almost got it through there. But Lewis Dunk there for Brighton. Now Brighton can break. And the ball breaks to Mata. Midway inside the Brighton half. That's a lot of Martial, but he found Mata. Good football that from United. Now Shaw. Martial. Running towards the edge of the area. Martial doing brilliantly. 1-2 there. Mata shoots, deflection. Goes wide of the far post. United claim a corner and they've got it. Mata claimed the corner. It did look like a deflection off a Brighton player. And the referee agreed. Although I have to say, it did come off a United player maybe last there. Judging by the replay. Here comes the corner in towards the 6-yard box, and it's a bit of a scramble, and it's off the post. Off the post. It was, I think it was Jesse Lingard with the shot. And no, it wasn't. It was Smalling, sorry, with the shot. Chris Smalling was in there. There was a crowd sitting inside the 6-yard box, and Smalling smashed it past Krul, and he hit the outside of the post. And Chris Smalling, who scored the last time we covered Manchester United a week ago against Crystal Palace on that famous Monday night game, came so close to breaking the deadlock there. He smashed the outside of the post, and Brighton just about survive as we approach half an hour gone of this game. Remember, it has to be decided tonight either by 90 minutes extra time or penalties. VAR is in operation. The only game, it was used earlier today. It was in operation early today. It's also in use tomorrow. One of the ties. That's Leicester City against Chelsea. It's not being used, however, at Wigan against Southampton. But that won't bother the two teams involved. Here's a chance for Brighton as they come forward. Locadia making a great burst, but then Smalling covering back there for United. Stopped him in his tracks, but Brighton have got themselves a corner. And if Brighton can hold one in there, they've got every chance of upsetting the odds here at Old Trafford tonight. Smalling did well. But United have a corner to defend. And Solly March will take it. Yajola lurking. Dunk and Duffy also lurking in the penalty area. March's corner from the left hand side. It's a good corner. And the header was a free one. And a good save by Romero. What a fantastic corner there from Solly March. A free header there for Brighton. And a great save down the wing to his right by Romero as Dunk knocks it back to Tim Krul. There's a Manchester United player down just outside the centre circle. It was Lewis Dunk, in fact, with a header. And a free one at that. Look at that. Just another inch or two to the right. And more in the corner. I think that's 1-0 Brighton. Really poor marking there. Zonal marking from Manchester United. It was poor from their usual high standards. And Romero, the cup goalkeeper, making a smart save. There's also a Brighton player being attended to there as well. I don't know who it is. Kale, I think. But Romero there with a really good save there, because if that goes in, United then staring defeat in the face. Well, I think if you're asking, Tottenham, look, maybe is it Tottenham's year? And it's not the fact that they're playing at Wembley that gives them the advantage. It's not that at all. They had 2 difficult away ties against lower league opposition and were lucky to get out of there with draws. So when you think about that, do you think then you've got to wonder if their name's on the cup? Forget the fact they're at Wembley, playing their home matches at Wembley and everything else. Let's just think of the fact that they've had a bit of luck to get to the semi-finals along the way. I think their name could be on the trophy. There's a possibility that Leicester could win it. And obviously Wigan. I mean, Wigan for me have been the real stars of the show. Regardless of who wins it, they've been the real stars of the cup this season. You know, knocking out 3 Premier League teams, including Manchester City. That's a terrific performance, as well as Brighton and West Ham before them. And they've had a chance to add a 4th Premier League scalp tomorrow, of course, when they play Southampton at the DW. And I don't think Mark Hughes or Southampton, currently now in the bottom 3 because of Crystal Palace's win earlier today in the Premier League, really they'll want to be worried about that. As Brighton come forward again, ball in towards Kyle from the right hand side, and in the end United there, and it was McTominay I think getting back there to deny Kyle probably a tap in there. Here's Dunk for Brighton. Now he finds his defensive partner Duffy. Duffy gets it ball forward to halfway. Brighton having a good spell here as we come up towards the 34th minute of the game. Well inside the last quarter of an hour. Here's Lewis Dunk for Brighton. Ball played down the left hand side, but it's a bit of a chase for Lucadia, who can't keep it in play. And it's a throw in to Manchester United deep inside their own territory. It's a cold night, and you need cold hot drinks on a night like this. And I think I would dare to dream that the Bovril sales at Old Trafford will be going through the roof here for an half-time refreshment. Referees blown for something untoward there deep inside the United box. I think there was an infringement. Free kick to Manchester United here. Who won the cup 2 years ago. Was the last game in charge of Louis van Gaal's reign. And they had to play Europa League football because of it. They didn't particularly do well in the league, but the FA Cup were brilliant. Jesse Lingard getting the winner, funnily enough, in that game against Crystal Palace, who I felt were unlucky not to win it. Still 0-0 here in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup in association with Emirates. Here come Manchester United, the red wave of United attack. There's the cross in from Martial. Looks like him and Lingard have swapped flanks at the time being. Ball played in again from the right by Lingard. Lingard then chests it down. 0-0 here. 10 minutes to play to half time. Here's Valencia, stopped in his tracks. Satner with a challenge. Manchester United throw. A couple of yards from the near corner quadrant on the right hand side of the pitch. And now United again getting behind their side. But Brighton of course making their presence felt. or rather Brighton making their presence felt, as United come forward again. Still a long way to go in the season. It's England next week, international break, and England warm up with two warm-up games against for the World Cup against two teams that are not there, sadly, the Dutch and the Italians. Two great World Cup teams where you associate well with the World Cup. The Dutch, of course, are their total football in the mid to 70s, so they've reached 3 finals, of course. And of course Italy have won the competition 4 times. They won it 12 years ago in Germany, in Berlin. But neither of those teams are going to be in Russia. But you'll hear most of the tournament on the JB Clark YouTube channel, and the header comes in by Romelu Lukaku. The crossing from the left hand side, and Lukaku from 6 yards out couldn't miss. And Manchester United take the lead with 36 minutes gone. Lovely football this time from United. They made every winner of it. But the first goal was always going to be important in this quarter-final, and it's come here. Lukaku definitely onside, and there's the header. Lukaku getting there. Tim Krul from that moment on, as soon as it lays Lukaku's head, hasn't got a price. It's a lovely cross from the far side. It's a great ball in. Matic showing why he's quality and why Chelsea are missing him so much this season. And that's a lovely goal. Lovely build-up, lovely cross by Matic, and finished off quite conclusively by Romelu Lukaku, who scored in the week against Seville when it really didn't matter, but it may well matter this goal now. Lukaku with the opening goal. Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. But they're still in the game, Brighton, but it's going to be a long way back for them now. Well, they created some good moments, Brighton, and they're still very much alive in this cup tie. But the next goal now, they need to get it to give themselves a chance. Really tame ball there by United. They conceded a needless throw-in. Well, that's a nice compliment to say. Anyone that's being compared to somebody like Martin Tyler, well, I think that's a very good praise. But I just do the commentary as myself. I do it with my own style, my own way, and I just describe it in my own inimitable style. I don't copy anyone and never imitate anybody. It's just the way I am. 1-0 though to Manchester United in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, sponsored of course by Emirates. And now it's a test really of Chris Hughton's managership, if he can get his team to perform. They perform really well. I think if it was at the Amex, I think they would. I don't think they panic too much because it's away from home at Old Trafford. It's going to be difficult. They've had a good, decent little run to the quarterfinals, Brighton, but this is a real. They knocked out Coventry, of course, in the last round, who had already shocked a couple of teams. They shocked Stoke, of course. They shocked the MK Dons, then went to Brighton. They were going to count themselves, but Brighton were just too good on that particular afternoon. We've had 39 and a half minutes in the first half. Manchester United leading through Romelu Lukaku. A terrific close range header at the far post. To a good cross in from the left hand side by Nemanja Matic, and here he is on the ball, spraying it to Antonio Valencia. Now the ball back inside to Juan Mata. United now a bit more confidence in the way that they're playing the game at the moment, with 5 minutes to go to the break. If you're not familiar with the rules of the commentary here on this YouTube channel, we take a 5-minute break and then return for the second half. Yes, us commentators, we do need to catch a 5-10 minute break to refresh and go again, even on a Saturday night on St Patrick's Day. Here's Lukaku now leading in there, and the ball comes to McTominay. Now a chance here from Mata. Lovely football this for United. Very play with a great deal of pluck and intelligence as well, I have to say. Lingard takes possession. Now McTominay. And Valencia in a bit of space on the right. Now Valencia, 2 Brighton defenders though converged on him. Mata now has it on the edge of the area, plays it in towards the far post, and it's just missed everyone in the area, including McTominay, and a goal kick to Brighton and Hove Albion. In fact, it was Luke Shaw going in there. 4 minutes of the first half remaining plus any time added on, and so far we haven't needed the assistance of the dreaded VAR, which is definitely an operation tonight, but there was no need for the VAR to have any influence on the only goal of the game, scored by Romelu Lukaku after 36 minutes. It's divides these two football sides. A repeat of the 1983 FA Cup final, which Brighton should have won in the first time of asking. If Gordon Smith had kept his head, they would have won the cup that day, but they didn't. As we see, Jesse Lingard fell there by Proper, and a 3 kick just over halfway on the left hand side, on the far side to Manchester United. Referee so far, Andre Mariner from Birmingham, having a decent game. He hasn't had too many big calls to make, as we haven't had any real controversy as yet. No yellow cards incidentally so far. Let's hope that stays the same. It's been a good, competitive but clean game of football played by 2 committed sides. Now that's given away. Chance here for Martial to cut in, tries to play it towards Lukaku, and he couldn't get it away. Now Scalotto gets it away for Brighton. They have to really keep their discipline, but they know now they must try and score, or try and get an equaliser possibly before the break, or fairly that second half. And at the moment it's going United's way here at Old Trafford. They're on course for the semi-finals, but it's Lewis Dunk for Brighton. Write them off at your peril. This team don't know when they're beaten under Chris Hughton. It's a good ball in by Scalotto, and Joe was in half an inch of getting on the end of that. And Brighton still have it here. Lucadia now. He's supporting inside the penalty area, and he has to go back to the edge of the area where KL is waiting for it. And now Proper has it now. Still good football here. Solly March on the far side. A good young footballer. I really am impressed with the way Solly March has taken to Premier League football. Now a chance for Sutner to measure a ball towards the back post, and United again a little bit at 6s and 7s. They get a throw, however, level with the edge of the 6-yard box of United's. Old Trafford, still a few empty seats at Old Trafford. It's not a capacity crowd. Well, there's at least a good 60,000 there, and that's swelled by a big huge following from the south coast of the Seagull supporters. Here's Kyle now for Manchester, for Brighton and Hove Albion, who trail 1-0 as we go into the last 90, we're inside the last, coming up towards the last minute of the first half of normal time, and then it will be down to the 4th official to add on the stoppage time as Krull plays sweeper keeper, finds Lewis Dunk. Oh, he just got away from Mata there, took a chance there, the Brighton skipper, but he's done well. Plays it up towards Joe, and now a chance here for Sutner. Sutner now plays it infield to Kyle, and Kyle now plays it over to Duffy. Now the ball 10 yards inside United half, trying to play 1-2 here with Solly March. 30 seconds to go before the break. March has it on the far side for Brighton. They were having a little bit of a go. Low cross, but not troubling the goalkeeper Romero. Good clean handling there by the Argentinian goalkeeper, and no trouble at all for Manchester United at the moment. Already out the Champions League, crashed out early on to the Carabao Cup, and now can't really catch City in the Premier League title, if you could call it a race. We've played the 45 minutes. Andre Mariner has actually checked his watch, and it's just going to be the 1 minute at the end of the first half. There hasn't been many stoppages really for injuries or big decisions or whatnot. It's been quite a free-flowing game, although the conditions haven't made it easy for good, clean, attacking football. But United in the lead, probably deservedly so on balance of play. And Shaw has it now for United. Cuts inside. Lovely football again. And Shaw goes again. But Solly March there, very, very quick to spot that danger. Gets it forward. And Brighton win the free kick. There's about 10 seconds of the first half left at stoppage time. So Chris Hughes with a little bit of work to do then as he will be preparing to make his way. Mourinho's already trotted down towards the tunnel already. Shares a little joke with Houghton. As Brighton take the free kick, and there goes the full half-time whistle from Mr. Mourinho, the referee from Birmingham. And Jose Mourinho with 4 layers over him because it's a bitterly cold day. It's probably about -2, -3 out there at the moment. He's tied a goal up. It hasn't been vintage Manchester United, but it's been good enough at the moment. The goal, a really well constructed goal. Shaw and Matic with the assist. Shaw laid it to Matic on the left, laid it back to Matic. He's crossing from the left, and a free header from about 3 yards out. He couldn't miss there, Romelu Lukaku. And at half time in the second quarter final here at Old Trafford, Manchester United lead Brighton by a goal to 0. And we're going to take a quick 5 or 10 minute break, and then we'll be back with full second half coverage of Brighton against Manchester United. But the hard time score here at Old Trafford: Manchester United 1, Brighton 0. Please stay with us. A warm welcome back to Old Trafford as we await the start of the second half here for this our first of two live quarterfinals and half time in this game at Old Trafford. Manchester United lead Brighton and Hove Albion in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup by a goal to 0. Already through earlier today was Tottenham. They comfortably beat Swansea. Christian Eriksen with 2 goals, Eric Lamela with the other one. They're comfortably through to the semi-finals. Tomorrow is Wigan against Southampton and Leicester City and Chelsea. You'll hear one of those 2 games tomorrow here on the YouTube channel. Probably likely to be Leicester or Chelsea, but watch this space. We'll find out anyway. But at the moment, it looks as if United are going to join Tottenham in the semi-final draw, which takes place tomorrow, I believe. And just to remind you of the rules, no replays now in the quarterfinals from now on in. If it is level after 90 minutes, we will have 30 minutes of extra time. If it's still level after that, we will have a penalty shootout. So it has to be settled tonight, and at the moment it is being settled by a goal from Romelu Lukaku for Manchester United after 36 minutes. Meanwhile, whilst we're waiting for the teams to come back out, Manchester United in the Premier League, not Manchester United, I mean Liverpool in the Premier League have won 5-0 in the evening kick-off against Watford, and in fact Mohamed Salah got 4 of the 5 goals and now goes 4 goals ahead of Harry Kane in the scoring charts. Kane's on 24, as you know. Salah now with his 4 goals, with his foursome today, goes to 28 and goes 4 goals clear in the Premier League scoring charts. There were also wins today for Bournemouth, who were trailed for quite a lot of time against West Brom. It looks as if they were going to get a much needed win to get themselves out of trouble, back on track and out towards the safety line, but they didn't. They caved in, and now they remain a whopping 10 points behind West Ham, who are in the who are just outside the relegation zone. In the other 2 matches, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold on at the moment. In the other 2 games at Huddersfield, it was a big win for Crystal Palace. They moved out the bottom 3 with 2 goals to 0. It also coincided with the return of Will Zaha to the starting lineup. They've been playing well in recent weeks, but not winning any games. But certainly they needed to win against the Huddersfield side, who are now probably starting to look a little bit over their shoulders at the moment. That is for sure. And in the other match, Stoke City, again, they were needed for a win. They had Charlie Adams sent off, but Everton came back and won 2-1 against the 10 men of Stoke. And Jack Butler made a mistake on one of the goals there. And I'm just seeing there, Swansea 0, Tottenham 3. Wigan Southampton to come tomorrow. Leicester Chelsea as well. Wolves won 3-1 in their championship match today against Burton. So they're odds on to replace West Brom in the Premier League next season. As well as we just await the 2 teams to revert to the tunnel, revert to the second half. Next week there'll be no live league domestic action because there's an international break, because England are playing the 2 friendlies, as you well know, because there's qualifying games for the World Cup. So there'll be no live match next week, which is a shame. But we are back in 2 weeks with some Premier League games, so with at least 2 Premier League games from that fixture. And of course, looking further ahead, of course, we have a massive special lined up in mid-April as well. Of course, there's obviously the semi-finals to come later on, but also there's the Grand National, of course, on one of the days during mid-April. So what's going to happen let's just look at the Premier League fixture list for that particular weekend. I think it's the 15th or 16th of April, I think, the Grand National, because I think so we'll pick an afternoon game. So April, because we're planning a double here, so it's going to be, I think it's the 14th of April. So what's going to happen is we have live football, and it's going to be a Clarets match live. So it's going to be Burnley versus Leicester City, and then after the final whistle's gone at Turf Moor, we go across that Aintree at around about 5 o'clock, just after 5 o'clock, after we've done the classifieds, and for full race commentary of the 2018 Randox Health Grand National, one of the biggest races in horse racing calendar. So a little bit of a double on the 14th, a Clarets match live, potentially there between Burnley and Leicester, plus full match commentary, full race commentary I should say, of the 2018 Randox Health Grand National. So plenty to come, and of course on the 31st of March we'll have one of the, well, obviously April Fool's Day, we'll have one of those two games, Arsenal maybe against Stoke City being one of them. 31st of March, another Clarets match live for you as West Bromwich Albion take on Burnley in the Premier League. So plenty coming up in the next couple of weeks on the JB Claret YouTube channel as well. Ireland have won the Six Nations Championship. As you know, they did the Grand Slam earlier today. They beat England very convincingly in the end, 24 points to 15 at Twickenham, and complete the Grand Slam. And what a nice day to do it as well on St Patrick's Day. So well done to Ireland. They were, out of everybody out the Six Nations, they were the best team, and I think the right team won the tournament. As for England, a lot of soul searching to do for Eddie Jones' side, as they need to build really in the next 18 months, of course, for the 2019 Rugby World Cup. We're still waiting for the teams to come out here with Old Trafford in the quarterfinals of the Emirates FA Cup in association with the airline. And of course this game being brought to you by association by John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. You can check out the Facebook page, of course, at facebook.com/John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. Like the page, and all your favourite fragrances made in the same factory as the originals, and it's £20 for 50ml bottles, so don't miss out on that one. Meanwhile at Old Trafford now, we are Mourinho's out onto the field, or it's going towards the dugouts. We're about to start the second half then. I've got a nice hot cup of coffee on the go. I hope you guys who are listening at home are tanked up on coffee or tea or Bovril, because it's a cold one tonight. Ashley Young is preparing to come on, so we're going to have a half-time substitution here for Manchester United. Mourinho obviously not happy with something. He's replaced Luke Shaw. I'm not sure whether it's tactical or whether it was an injury that Luke Shaw may have picked up. We didn't really notice anything awry with Luke Shaw at half time. Maybe Mourinho wanted to give Young a run out for 45 minutes, and maybe he's not been happy. But I thought Shaw played okay in the first half. I didn't see anything wrong, but Mourinho's the man that's at Manchester United. He's paid something like $8 million to make these decisions, so we'll have to see. But it's 45 minutes to go potentially, unless Brighton score and it ends 1-1, then we will have extra time. So we're all set to go then at Old Trafford for the second half. No changes in fact for Brighton at the moment, just that one change. Brighton attacking the goal to our right, where all their supporters are, in blue and white, and off we go. The blue and white stripes of Brighton get us away then. United in red and white shorts, red shirts, white shorts, and they're going to attack the Stratford end to the left. So 45 minutes left for Brighton to save their FA Cup dream. Virtually safe in the Premier League. Just need, I think, one win, and one win will do it for them this season, and then they can relax for the rest of the season. But it's all about the next 45 minutes now. It's all about who will stay in the FA Cup in association with Emirates. This is the second of the quarterfinals of the weekend. Remember, we saw yesterday, earlier today, a victory for Tottenham Hotspur, 2-0, comfortable 2-0 winners, 3-0 winners over the Swansea. So that just one change, otherwise it's the same team. Just going through the Brighton team, just to remind you, Crew is in goal, and then it's across the back, Scott, Duffy, Duncan, Sutner, Kyle Gross and proper action. They're playing 3 in the midfield with 3 up front. Sammy Marsh, Ujoa in the middle, and Lucadia as well. So they're going for it for all 3-3. So it's a bold formation from Chris Hughton. So here come Brighton, but the foul has been given against Brighton. Free kick sounded by the referee, which is Kevin Friend, not Kevin Friend, Andre Mariner, sorry, from Birmingham. We're just having a little bit of problems here, but I've got to say, Manchester United, as we had just over 90 seconds of the second half gone, decent value for their lead. Although they haven't really played too well, but the pitch looks in a much better condition than it was at the start. The snow has subsided, of course, and the pitch now looks a little bit more immaculate, I should say. No real snow going down as there was at this stage earlier on in the first half. And it's 1-0 to Manchester United here at Old Trafford. Apologies there, folks. We lost sound there at some point there with the microphone, but we are back live now. You haven't missed much there. No real chances, but United are on the attack here as they look to try and break the Brighton defence down for a second time. I do apologise for the loss of sound. It does happen, and but we are back live now. I hope you can hear us loud and clear. Here's Solly March now for Brighton and Hove Albion. 1-0 down, but still very much still in this season's FA Cup. Gross tries to get it away, but United just pinning them back a little bit, and that's a little bit of a problem there for Manchester United. Jose Mourinho still a bit concerned look on his face. He's had a difficult week, as you may imagine. So Bobby Charlton's there, so too is Alex Ferguson. I think that's Alex Ferguson now, all wrapped up behind that red scarf. Now a director and an ambassador at Manchester United, having had those marvellous years. He was in charge from 1986 to 2013 and had all that success. League titles galore, FA Cups, League Cups, 2 European Cup wins. Real giant and the most successful manager since Matt Busby. As Gross comes in for Brighton and just shoots just wide. What an opportunity that was from around about 25 yards out. Struck it well with the right foot, and it was within inches of being 1-1 here at Old Trafford. And the goalkeeper had no chance from the moment Gross hit it. It just needed to go half a yard the other side of the post, and it was 1-1. And Brighton would have been right back in business here. Oh, it wasn't a lot to spare. I think Romero was clutching at straws there. He's very lucky there, the Manchester United keeper, because if that had been on target, it would have been 1-1. Here come Manchester United with Lingard. He's found Martial, but it's given away, and Scalotto doing well. He keeps the ball in play and wins a throw off Lingard. Terrific play by Scalotto. Honestly, I saw him the other week against Arsenal, and he had until he got injured, he had a superb game. We're just looking at Paul Pogba, the £89 million man, who's really been off the boil in recent weeks. But at the moment, Brighton missing a good opportunity to make it 1-1 here in this quarter-final. But a terrific game in prospect now. Here's Gross now for Manchester United. Long ball forward towards the far side, and he's picked out Lucadia very well. And Brighton here having a real good go in the second half. They're playing without fear. Gross again. Right to the air. Shoots again right-footed. And it hits the United defender. And United get it clear. Bailey's clearance wasn't the best. Now Marsh has it now. Deep inside United territory. Towards the edge of the area. United now on the back foot. The shot comes in again. Romero having to save from Lucadia, who hit the shot to the left of the day. And I tell you something now. Brighton are getting opportunities here. Good layoff here by Yajola, and the left-footed shot. It was a good save down at the near post. One wouldn't have expected Romero to get beat there, but Brighton having a good go in this second half. 7 shots apiece as United come charging forward with Mata. And Mata now feeds Valencia. Valencia now on the far side. Back towards Martial in the former number of Ryan Giggs, number 11. Now Young from Matic's pass on the left-hand side. Ashley Young whips the cross in, and Scalotto was there to charge it away and boot it away. But didn't get it far away. Got it high, but not very far. Got it towards halfway inside the Brighton half. The ball back on halfway line, however. Now United go again with Jesse Lingard. Plays it into Lukaku. Now Martial. The game just United a little bit more narrower in their play, not using too much width at the moment. They might do now, but that's a poor ball by Romelu Lukaku, the goal scorer. Was never going to find Ashley Young with that pass, and in the end, Brighton were able to get it away. But Manchester United here, even though they're 1 up here, making a little bit of heavy work of this FA Cup quarter-final. One has got to say. And Brighton have had 2 good opportunities in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. As Mata takes possession here from the men from Old Trafford, who lead by a goal to 0. Lukaku's goal after 35 minutes, or 36 minutes rather, is the massive difference between the two sides. Could have been equal, could have been level again. Brighton should be level in this cup tie. They've played really well. Here's Anthony Martial for United through the centre. Now Lingard has it. Plays it to Lukaku. Lukaku back to Matic. Matic now just finding Young, but Young was not going to be. It's going to be well stopped, well marshalled there by Solly March. Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. The match live, quarter-final of the FA Cup. We'll have another tie for you tomorrow afternoon. It possibly might be Leicester v Chelsea, or if it is to be Wigan against Southampton, it may well be a delayed commentary. But at the moment here in the FA Cup quarter-final, live from Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 1, Brighton 0. 10 minutes of the second half gone, but Brighton have had 2 presentable opportunities as the ball finds its way towards Romero. Glenn Murray is also amongst the bench, but also you've got the likes of Pogba, Sanchez, Rashford, who's in good form, and Marian Fellaini. And that United bench doesn't sound. It sounds pretty despondent if you're a Brighton fan. But they're still very much alive in this tie, and have had 2 presentable opportunities to level this FA Cup game up. Here's Solly March now drifting towards the right hand side. In fact, Gross is on the ball. He's found Solly March here. Right hand side. Marshall, I've been very impressed with today. Crosses in there. Chance here on the edge of the area. Shot comes in. Another good save by the keeper to deny Lacardia from the edge of the day. Hits it right footed. The goalkeeper sprawling away to his right. This is a top save from Romero. Probably a little bit more dramatic than it needed to be, but still it needed saving. It looked as if Lacardia was going to make it 1-1. In fact, that's a really top draw save by the cup goalkeeper number 2, Romero. And it's a corner to Brighton. Into the 6-yard box it goes. Headed away by Bally. And then it comes out on the edge of the area. And marches. And the chance here for Duffy on the edge of the area. Turned, cut inside the area. Got his left footed shot. It was a 2-1 in the end. Easy for Romero. 1-0 still it remains. In fact, Duffy may have been offside as that ball was played in. But it's 1-0 to Manchester United with 57 minutes gone. Here's Young, but we have a cup tie. United have had 2 shots on target. Brighton have had 4, so they're very much alive in this FA Cup. Arguably should be level in this game. They're creating chances here, Brighton and Hove Albion. If they take at least one of them, maybe 2, we could have a real shock on the cards. Brighton very much alive in this cup tie, but still trail to that 36-minute goal from Romelu Lukaku. This is Young on the left-hand side for Manchester United. And they just keep a possession at will here, United. Lingard, no, it's no frills football at the moment for United. It's Brighton that are really taking the game to United, and this is not a classic United performance again. And Brighton must pounce on the fact that they're still vulnerable from that horrific defeat on Tuesday night in the Champions League against Sevilla. And here they come again, Brighton. They're having a good go in this second half. They've got a throw level at the edge of the United penalty area on the far side. Lukaku, of all people, conceded the throw-in. Brighton here sense an equaliser. They've not been far away from getting one. They've played well in this cup tie and are very, very unlucky on terms of statistics not to be level in this match. They've played really well, but here's Lingard. He finds an opportunity here for Martial, left hand side. Martial cuts inside behind Lingard, and in the end an opportunity there for Brighton and for Gross to pick the ball up. Now then, opportunity knocks again. Kyle now to the far side. Lucardia now has it on the left hand side, cuts inside. Ujoli plays a 1-2 with Ujoli. Solly March is available to the right of him, and oh, that's a lovely ball to Gross as well on the right hand side. That's a good cross, but the goalkeeper was superb there. Romero took the ball no problem and did well, the Argentinian keeper. It's a cold night out there in Manchester, proper Manchester weather here. Proper northern weather, and if you're a southerner then you need to wrap up warm if you're not used to this sort of weather. This is proper northern cold weather. Further north you go, the colder it does actually get. Believe me, I live up north. Here come Manchester United here again. They're looking to kill this game off. They haven't been at their fluent best. Here comes the opportunity here. Remember, Soccer Aid's back on the 10th of June as Robbie's England take on Usain Bolt's the rest of the world squad. That's going to be a real sellout there. Obviously raising money for UNICEF. 10th of June. I think that's live on ITV, I think, that game. But that's a charity game we're talking about. We're talking about FA Cup earlier today. 3-0 winners. Tottenham over Swansea. Here's Young. I'll just remind you what happened earlier today in the Premier League as well, because there were 4 games played in that this afternoon. Here's Martial chipping the ball in. Oh, and he got right through there. And Kroos trying to keep it in, and he did well. He kept that in well. Klinsmann had a good look on the far side to see if he had kept it in. He did well. And good tackle again. Nothing wrong with that one. United now could be in all sorts of trouble here as Gross takes possession, plays it a little bit behind Scalotto, but it still finds him. Scalotto loses out, it's a throw. So let's just keep you abreast of what's been happening in the Premier League as Glenn Murray warms up down on the far near side. Earlier today, Bournemouth came from behind to beat West Brom. They're now 10 points from safety in the baggies, surely on their way down to the Championship. And across the Pennines at Huddersfield, it finished Huddersfield 0, Crystal Palace 2. Big win for Palace, they move out of the relegation zone. And Stoke City 1, Everton 2. Everton now climbed to 40 points, more or less level with Leicester City, who play the Cup tomorrow. And of course Stoke marooned in that bottom 3. And of course Watford took a pounding 5-0 in the tea time kick-off against Liverpool, when Mo Salah scored 4 goals and puts him 4 ahead of Harry Kane, who's currently injured in the scoring charts. He's on 28 for the season, Mo Salah. A terrific debut season for him. And they're not missing the likes of Sturridge or Suarez anymore. Here at Old Trafford in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup with Emirates. It's Matic now for United. It's a slender 1-0 advantage. A poor ball by him, and a play on the far side, and a goal kick to Brighton and Hove Albion, who are very much alive in this contest with just under half an hour to go. But if they were to equalise and it was to stay the same, we would go on. We would have half an hour's extra time, and if it was all after that, penalties. So we could have a very late night here. It's just got 9 o'clock here on a Saturday night at Old Trafford. And it's the first time I've ever done a Saturday evening commentary at this time of night. It's usually on a Tuesday or a Wednesday I commentate at this time. But tonight it's different. We are peak time on a Saturday night. I just hope we finish in time for Match of the Day later on the Beeb. Meanwhile, here on the JB Claret YouTube channel, Manchester United won Brighton and Hove Albion 0 in the second of the 4 FA Cup quarter-finals. We already had one at lunchtime, which was won by Tottenham quite comfortably at Swansea 3-0. 2 for Eriksen, 1 for Lamella. Ball forward, and it's going to reach Tim Krul. United just haven't been at their fluent best. But Brighton have had chances here, and they surely will find a vulnerable weak spot in Manchester United's defence. Gross now has come closest than most for Brighton this afternoon. Really has done well in the midfield area. Finds Shane Duffy. Duffy now with a bit of time to weigh the options up. Gets the ball away. But it's a poor ball, and it falls for Eric Bailly. And now Smalley takes over. No, rather Matic takes over now for Manchester United. 1 up. A goal after 36 minutes by the big bulky Romelu Lukaku, the Belgian international, who England will be facing in one of the group games in the World Cup. And that's a good ball through. Chances there. I thought for a moment Locadia was just going to get in behind, but just didn't have the pace to outstretch the United defence, who got enough numbers back to hound him out with all the honour, quite honestly. But Brighton having a good go here, and they're not lying down, and this is a good second half for them. They could just get a little bit of luck. Sometimes you need a bit of luck in the FA Cup. I think they're due a bit of luck in the Cup as well, Brighton, and certainly tonight anyway. But if I know Chris Hughton, he will bide his time, and the chance will come for Brighton. There's no doubt about that. They've created a couple of good opportunities, and on another day they could have had 2 goals easily. Scalotto finding Duffy, who hits it long. Smalling with a header back. Scalotto leaving it to Shane Duffy, who can get that one forward up towards the penalty area. Then Scalotto looked as if he was fouled, but the referee allows it to go on, and this is Martial on the left hand side. And Scalotto again, I have to say, I've been very impressed with the right back tonight. He's had a magnificent game, and a lot of the Brighton players have played well, but still the added bonus maybe of seeing Glenn Murray later on. And it's up to Chris Hughton now how long he's going to leave it before bringing Glenn Murray on. Remember, 12 goals this season in the Premier League for Glenn Murray. That's really good going for a guy who's 34 years old. Should be, in my opinion, in the England squad on form ahead of people who are definitely out of form, like the likes of Danny Welbeck, who I've always questioned his commitment for the England cause. Meanwhile here at Old Trafford. It's 1-0 to Manchester United, but Brighton having a good spell, and here they come now. 25 minutes for them to save their FA Cup dreams. Remember, it's got to be decided tonight. No replays, so we won't have a second game down at the Amex. There's just too much football around for the replays in the quarterfinals. Here's Solly March now with a good cross towards the back post, header one, and it's just over by Lancashire. Another good opportunity for Brighton, and Solly Marsh, involved again. He's having a terrific game, Solly Marsh, on the right hand side, and he's giving Young all sorts of trouble there. Did him for pace, a lovely cross, and it just needed a better connection from Lancashire, and it may well have been 1-1. It still remains 1-0 Manchester United. 66.5 minutes gone. Romero with the kick, right footed, up and over the halfway line, deep inside Brighton territory, and Duffy was there for Brighton, and away by Sutner off the defender, off Lukaku, sorry, and out for a throw into Brighton and Hove Albion. Well, they're having a flurry of chances in the second half, the Seagulls. They've played really well without reward, but their intentions were Premier League survival, but the FA Cup was always going to be a bonus for them. But I honestly think, I suspect they may well equalise here. They have to get the next goal, of course, otherwise it's all over for them. And Scalotto here has picked up the loose ball. United very, very wayward in midfield. In 1 week have I ever seen a Manchester United team so disjointed and disappointed in the midfield area. They were poor against Sevilla in the week. They've not been at their best today, despite Mourinho's rant in the build up to this game. There's going to be a change made here for Brighton, and it's not the substitutes I expected. It's Solly March. I'm disappointed that he's got off, but Jose Izagirre is actually a very good player. We saw him against Arsenal the other week on the match as well on the YouTube channel, and he was absolutely unplayable the first 42 minutes of the match against Arsenal, but they deservedly won by 2-1, but they should have had a cricket score before Arsenal did score Brighton, and that's no exaggeration and definitely not a lie. And they've certainly impressed again tonight, even though they trail by 1-0. They look at a really good side, Brighton, and again they've had some good investments as well in the 2 windows they've had, and you have to say that surely Brighton will have enough in attack to stay up and really establish themselves as a top flight side once again. And here they come again, looking to get this equaliser. Here's Aguero now, pulls away towards the far side. He's just come off for Solly Marsh. Now this could be interesting now. 68 minutes gone, fresh legs for Brighton. That was their first substitution. They've still got Glenn Murray in reserve. Here's Aguero now playing a good 1-2 with Gross, said that was a dangerous looking attack there for Brighton. The cross needed to be a bit better perhaps. United scrambled it out, but Scalotto getting back there for Brighton. He's done exceptionally well here. And here come Brighton through the centre, and it's Lewis Dunk, the captain, showing the captain's example. He's got Locadia now, and now the ball played in. Chances here. It's come to the edge of the area. Can they get the shot in? The shot comes in, deflected away, and it was Izagirre who tried to get the shot in. It was charged away. Just over 20 minutes left for this FA Cup quarter-final. Brighton trailing 1-0. It's a slender lead that Manchester United have got themselves. Can Brighton force an equaliser and force us from another half an hour more? They're into the penalty area. Chance here for Brighton inside the area. Charged down. It was Locadia again. He's looked a real threat. And Brighton are looking a real threat, although the ball has just got out of play on the far side for a throw-in. But Chris Smalling has saved Manchester United's skin here. Kyle playing the ball in. Locadia getting a little bit of luck for a stop and then getting his shot in, but it ran straight into the path of Smalling, who charged it down, and that was going in the net if it wasn't being blocked there by Chris Smalling. Mourinho's team are living a charmed life here. Brighton concedes 20 minutes to play. 1-0 United still lead. But Brighton are having a real go. And say to United, you're not through yet by any stretch of the imagination. We're here and we're still fighting to stay in this cup. I'll tell you what, if Brighton were to win this game, my goodness, the FA Cup would be blown wide open then. And it's 1-0 to Manchester United, but it's a very slender 1-0 lead. Here's Lingard. That's the lot there. I'll tell you something. Here's McTominay for Manchester United, 10 yards inside the Brighton area. Oh, the Brighton sorry. Martial now. And Brighton here trying to nick it on halfway and counter-attack. They almost did so to a T. They're playing with a real swagger about the Brighton. They have a real threat on the break. It's Aguero on the look, a real threat, but this is Lukaku down the left-hand side for United. Into the area he goes. Lukaku playing the ball back in. Lewis Stone getting back there to save Brighton's skids. Good defending there, buddy. Brighton and Albion captain. First real sorting that United have had into that Brighton penalty area. That looked a clear handball there by Lukaku as he tried to control it. It looked from the angle we were seeing it from. The referee didn't say anything untoward. Here's a chance now for United. Here's the chance. Cross from Brighton deflects away, and Brighton get the favourable break here, and they try to get Aguero in behind again. The ball back, smuggled back to Romero. 18 minutes bus stoppage time left. Potentially, I say that because if Brighton were to score, there were no further scoring, we'd be going on for half an hour more. Be 50 minutes time away, but at the moment there's no chance of extra time being played because Manchester United still lead by a single goal after 36 minutes from Romelu Lukaku. The ball back to Romero has made 3 superb saves to keep Manchester United in the lead in this quarter-final of the FA Cup in association with Emirates. Here's Locadia now for Brighton. What a game he's had, and that's a good ball, and Joe will steal in behind, but that's got out. He miscontrolled it. It's got out of play, and it will be a throw into Manchester United on the far side, and they're going to make a change. Looks like they're going to go 4-pronged here. Call the game off. Marcus Rashford is going to enter the fray. He's been in superb form, and they're getting a good applause here for one manner. To be fair, he's worked his socks off. He's probably been United's best midfielder bar none. And Marcus Rashford will now come on to replace him with 73.5 minutes of the game gone. It's still anyone's game to be won or lost here. Matter taking an eternity to come off here. Rashford is now jogged onto the field. 16 minutes left plus stoppage time to go. Brighton still have a chance of forcing extra time. No replays, remember, at the quarter-final stage onwards. All ties from now to the final will be played to a finish on the day. Tonight, the two other quarter-finals tomorrow, the 2 semi-finals at Wembley in late April, and the final on the 19th of May on a Saturday evening. It should be a 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon kick-off. Meanwhile, Brighton have the break, have the ball here. There's Aguero now. Gets the ball back. This is good football for Brighton. This is Gross, who's got into this game more and more. Chance here for Kyle, who shoots with his left foot, and it's over the bar and into the stand for a goal kick to Manchester United. And he smacks his head in frustration. 9:20 on a Saturday night. I never thought I'd see the time. I'd actually commentated on a Saturday night at 9:20 in an evening on a domestic FA Cup quarter-final. But we are live. We've got 15 minutes to go. They've had 13 shots in total, Brighton, on target or off target. That is some statistic, that. They've had more shots than Manchester United. In fact, they've had more shots on target as well. They're very, very unlucky. And there comes Glenn Murray. Off comes Leonardo Ugella. huffed and puffed up front, just couldn't make inroads. But Glenn Murray, who's got 12 Premier League goals, the top English goal scorer currently, the second top English goal scorer behind Harry Kane, who's now currently injured. 12 goals in a team like Brighton is with all due respect to Brighton, is an amazing achievement. But you have to say, Glenn Murray Brighton is his spiritual home, so to speak. Play for Bournemouth, of course. Another South Coast team there from Dorset, however. Brighton, of course, are from Sussex. It's been a good few years that South Coast football have enjoyed. I know Southampton are having a poor season by their standards in the bottom three of the Premier League. And I've got a tricky little trip up to Wigan tomorrow. I've got to say, Andre Mariner, the referee, has had a very quiet game. Hasn't had too many decisions to make. Meanwhile, Brighton now looking for this equaliser. Bailey gets it back to his keeper, and he can pick it up from a header back, but not from a back pass. That rule was outlawed now some 25 years ago now, believe it or not, the back pass rule. There's a generation of fans who don't believe me when I say up until 1992 goalkeepers could pick up balls, back pass balls from their own players. Honestly, watch football from the 60s, 70s up until the early 90s and you'll understand what I mean by that. And I think it was FIFA's objective to try speed up the game, because it did slow the paces of the games down, and it's meant for better football really in the modern era. Really, so much technical ability these days with sports science and everything like that, but still you still ache for the good old days of the 1990s, when the late 80s, early 90s, when football was a proper game played by proper working class people, and you have working class fans turning up. Now it's all family enclosures, which is good for the game. I like the family enclosure bit, but it's too many short pros sandwiches per game for me. But this FA Cup tie now coming towards a climax here, 12 minutes to go. Still anyone's game this. Manchester United leading by that 36-minute goal from Romelu Lukaku, but at the moment it's Brighton who have really had the better chances, and arguably should be level. But this is Jesse Lingard for Manchester United. In towards Matic. Lukaku can't get it round the corner, but he's given away a chance here for Rashford, but he loses out now, and a chance here for Brighton. They've got Glenn Murray on the pitch. They've used all three of their substitutes. I think Manchester United have got one left. Free kick to Brighton, 10 yards from the halfway line inside their own half. A professional foul by Anthony Martial. Still no yellow card issued by referee Mariner from Birmingham. Was a foul by Martial, and it was on Kyle. In fact, there was a bit of a set to between the two of them there. Martial should know better, and well played Romelu Lukaku for leading him away, otherwise he could have run himself into the referee's notebook. Free kick to Brighton, just on halfway then. We've got 10.5 minutes of the second half of normal time remaining, and there's a chance here Brighton. The ball whipped in towards the penalty area, just too much whip on the cross from the left hand side, and in the end it's behind for a goal kick. But Brighton do look a threat, and I tell you what, whatever happens tonight, Chris Hughton can be proud of. He's having a little, there he is, Hughton and Mourinho having a nice conversation down on the near touchline, and it's good to see, and I love that. I love it, and there's a little bit of friendly banter going on. We love that, and that's good honour, that's good camaraderie there. We talk about the bad things Mourinho does, but here's a chance there for United, but Scalotto got there for Brighton. We'll just break off because here's Jesse Lingard on the left-hand side into Matic. Matic trying to put the ball through. Rashford is there too for United. Still Marcus Rashford now for United. Here's Matic now, who scored that cracking goal at Crystal Palace, you may remember, nearly a fortnight ago in the Premier League against Selhurst Park. Whips the cross in, but it's knocked away by Brighton. They play terrific well out. Murray with the chest down, finding Kyle. Kyle now in field. They've had a real good goal tonight, Brighton. They should be proud, whatever happens. They should be proud of their performance because they have not disgraced themselves here, even if it was to end in defeat. 9 minutes to go. We've played 81 minutes. Ball forward towards Murray. And Murray might get there. Chances here now for Locadia. Locadia is there for Brighton. Finds Kyle. Kyle turning nicely into Gross now, the German. Chips it in there towards Glenn Murray, who almost got there. United just had enough sufficient players back, but it's still a chance here for Sutner. Sutner plays it back. Brighton really going for the cutthroat here, looking to force an extra half an hour more, because given the chance, they wanted the ball in towards Murray. It was a dangerous ball, and it was Lewis Dunk of all people with the cross, and it wasn't a bad cross actually from Dunk. Came within a whisker of reaching Murray inside the penalty area. It was a lovely work move this from Brighton, and Murray was just a little bit slow to react, but he applauds the ball in because he knows that was a dangerous looking ball there from the centre back Lewis Dunk. The Stone back again at Old Trafford. It's a bitterly cold night here in Manchester. 1-0 to Manchester United. That's a poor kick from Romero straight to Gross, and then gives it straight back to Young. And United now, luckily for them, are able to break. 8 minutes left, just under. But this has been a real difficult night for Manchester United, despite the fact that they're winning 1-0. Rashford is fouled then by Shane Duffy. It was a foul by him. Free kick to Manchester United. Bit of breathing space perhaps there. Rashford certainly barged into, no doubt about that. Felt the full effects of Duffy's no-nonsense foul, if you could call it that. Certainly a no-nonsense foul tackle. In fact, they've used 2 of the 3 substitutes, haven't they? Yes, they have. So they haven't used all 3 Brighton. I got that one wrong. Here's Young with the 3 kick towards the back post, and it comes in. It's 2-0 to Manchester United, and it's Matic who's got it, and that might just kill off brave Brighton's resistance. I suppose if you don't take your chances, you inevitably get punished. That's what's happened here. Brighton had real big opportunities, just didn't take them on the night. And in the end, from a set piece taken by Young into offside perhaps, Brighton may look at VAR, but I think the goal's going to be given anyway. There's the header, no doubt about it. It's a good header from Nemanja Matic at the back post. Poor defending really from Brighton's point of view. Cruel no chance, and despite the best efforts of Shane Duffy on the line, just couldn't get there. And that sees Manchester United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and they surely now, barring accidents, will join Tottenham Hotspur in the semi-finals. But is it a I'm just saying if it's a VAR job. Chris Hughton is looking on anxiously. No, I don't think it's a VAR job. They're getting back on with the game. So 6 minutes from the end, and we're not going to have a late night tonight, which is quite merciful for this commentator because he's running out of voice. Remember, I've got another game to do tomorrow afternoon. So there we go. But the second one for United, they're comfortably now 2-0 up, but it's been far from a poor. It's been a poor performance really by their standards. As we approach 9:30 here on a Saturday night. Really, and I honestly think Brighton can count themselves very, very unlucky really on the face of it. They've been the better team bar the scoreline. They certainly have had the better chances, they certainly had the better of a lot of the game, but just the way the game is bounced really, that United have just had that little bit of a rub of the green that's probably going to see them over the line and into the FA Cup semi-finals. But Brighton should be proud of the way they've fought and have forced a corner here. They're not, if I can get one back, it's going to be a nervy finish, and they're capable of doing this, Brighton. So they're not out of the woods yet. Valencia conceding the corner. Bit of a needless one to concede. Now if they can get the ball on Murray's head, or Duffy, or Dunk's head, they've got a chance. Dunk came close early on in the first half. Corner from the left hand side. It's towards the near post. It's a little bit of a high one in there. It's another Brighton corner. They need to get one now in the next sort of 4 and a bit minutes. They have a chance. The men from Sussex, 5 corners each. This is Brighton's 5th corner. This is gross to take. They've had a real good goal today, Brighton. They will leave here with absolutely no regrets whatsoever. Referee just telling Young to get off the field, I think. He's injured or... No, he's okay. He's staying on the pitch. So he will be able to face that corner. 4 minutes to go. Brighton 2 down. Gross with the corner. And the heads go up. He comes to Kyle on the edge of the area. And he felt he was fouled there. But Scalotto has had a terrific game for Brighton today. He's had a terrific game, the right back. Brighton will certainly deserve a lot of plaudits, but will not be going into the semi-final draw by the looks of it here. There's a United player down, but referee Mariner allowing the game to go on. But now Young is down on a heap now on the floor. He'd already been injured about a minute or two prior, and we could have a little bit of a lengthy stoppage here at the end of the game. This is what happened. It was he's trying to make a tackle and he's fallen awkwardly. That's what's happened. No blame attached to Locadia, who was nowhere near him. He never touched him in any way, shape or form. I just think he tried to tackle Locadia and then just got his body in the right angle here, and he's in quite a bit of a heap there down on the floor on the near side. And that's a nice touch from Mourinho. Just him and Scalotto there having a nice lovely word there, having a good laugh. And I have got to say, credit to everybody from Manchester United and Brighton, because the game tonight, I have to say, has been played in a magnificent spirit. And there's been no, apart from the one moment I think between Matic and Kyle, Martial and Kyle, really, it's not really been played in a bad spirit at all. Yogi's off the field obviously because he has to go off because of the rules, but I have to say there's been no malice from the two managers. So Bobby Charlton there under a blanket there, his misses as well. United about to make their final change of the night, and it's the big tall 6'8" afro-haired Mario Fellaini replacing Jesse Lingard, who I thought wasn't at his very best today, and that's why I think he's one of the reasons why he shouldn't even actually be in this particular England squad at the moment. But Brighton certainly had him in his pocket today. But Fellaini, bit of a big problem there, because he's 6'6", 6'7". A drop ball, and Brighton will now have to give the ball back. Or no, they're well within their rights to play on, I suppose. We're inside the last minute anyway. It's all down to the fourth official. I don't think there'll be too much in the way of time added on. Probably about 2, maybe 3 minutes at best. Can't see it being 4 minutes or anything stuff like that. Well, now it's the final minute of normal time here at Old Trafford, and it's, well, if you're tuned in late and you know that United are 2 up and you're thinking it's been a routine Manchester United victory, you would be wrong, because Brighton have actually had the better of the chances and had the more shots on target. They've had big chances in the second half, but they found Romero in magnificent form. United have not been at their full best, but 2-0 up. I think 2-0 does flatter United in some respects, because they haven't deserved to be 2 up in this game. Brighton should think themselves very lucky, but But here's Rashford now. United looking to finish with a flourish. The last 20 seconds of the game. Little chip in there towards Fellaini by Martial, but good defending again inside the penalty area by Brighton. I have to say, the back four of Brighton have not done themselves any harm at all today. Just 2 pieces of brilliance that have done them really here for United. And it was Matic behind them both. Scored one and created one. And he gets the JB man of the match, Nemanja Matic. Done really well. Scalotto was in line for that award as well, because he had a good game. Gross was in line too. Locadia had some opportunities. He played well too. So too did Lewis Dunk. But the man of the match will go to a Manchester United player. I have to say, the best midfielder for United, apart from one matter, has been Nemanja Matic. Done really well today, the former Chelsea man, and And this is what Chelsea are missing so far in their title defence. They should never have let him go to Manchester United. That was a big boo-boo by Antonio Conte to let him go to Manchester United. With just the 3 minutes, we've approached the first minute of the 3. At the end of the game now, it's just there's no way Brighton can get 2 in that space of time, but they can leave Old Trafford tonight, albeit out the cup, but they can leave with their heads well and truly high, knowing that they just need 1-0 win to stay in the Premier League, which was always the main objective for Brighton, being an early promoted team. As Izagero comes forward now for the Seagulls, who have played their part in a magnificent quarter-final, which really came alive in the second half, ball towards Murray, but it's cut out there by Young. But they played really well. They just didn't have the cutting edge in the end, or a foul. Sergio Romero in decent form. We're halfway through the stoppage time now, 90 seconds left, and it's just United now just playing out the motions here. But Brighton looking to hit back with a late goal themselves here. Here's Gross towards Murray. Can Murray get the shot off? He can. It might break for Gross in the area. Can he pull one back here? Brighton. Gross gets his shot in, but it's straight into the arms of Sergio Romero. And it sums up Brighton's evening, I'm afraid, in a nutshell. But they've played really well today. Let's give Brighton credit tonight. They've played really well, but it just hasn't been their night. In front of goal, United have had that little bit of luck that you need, and sometimes cup football, it's an element of luck, but there was certainly an element of quality in the 2 United goals. Lovely whip balls in from first Matic for Lukaku and then Young for Matic, and that has been the real difference. 30 seconds of the stoppage time left now, and it's just basically now both teams playing through the motions now, getting towards full time, and that's the way it's been tonight, I'm afraid. Brighton will feel disappointed, but they should leave Old Trafford with their heads held high, because they've given Manchester United a really hard game. As Grove strikes one, good effort from about 35 yards out. A really well struck shot. Again, Romero having to extend himself as we now play the 3 minutes, and there goes the full time whistle. A brave performance from Brighton in defeat, but it's Jose Mourinho's Manchester United. We're not playing best football, and what might have been a disappointing week, but they're still in the FA Cup, and they're still on course to win the FA Cup, a trophy that they can only possibly win. The league title is beyond them. They're out of everything else, and they're still very much alive in the FA Cup, so the season goes on for United anyway. As for Brighton, a great opportunity. They played really well today. They just didn't have the nous or the wherewithal to beat Romero in the United goal. It was superb on the day. But Brighton played some good stuff and contributed well to a cracking second half here in the cold at Old Trafford. Chris Hughton's team should hold their head up high. They played really well on the day, but it's at the end of the day, Manchester United's that little bit of quality has sent them over the line. We're going to stay till about 2:45, 10 to 10. See if we can get some instant reaction from Jose Mourinho and Chris Hughton maybe before we leave you. But it was a great cup tie, 2 bits of quality, but Brighton really stuck in there in the second half. They played exceptionally well and were very unlucky to lose 2-0 today. But United, 2 pieces of quality won it. The first goal after 36 minutes, a ball in from the left by Nemanja Matic, finished off superbly by Lukaku, made it 1-0. That was the score at half time. Then in the second half, Brighton had 3, maybe 4 or 5 presentable opportunities to get level, for Sergio Romero making tremendous saves. But then after 83 minutes, a 3 kick whipped in from just to the left of the D by Ashley Young, a terrific delivery, an unstoppable delivery, and in at the back post came Nemanja Matic to send Manchester United comfortably through in the end. 2-0 winners, but it was far from it wasn't a 2-0 scoreline. It should be. I do honestly think that Brighton on another day would have had a couple of goals themselves, and maybe we might have been talking or actually preparing for extra time, but it wasn't to be. Brighton are out, but go out with their heads held high. Manchester United are through, 2-0 winners, and join Tottenham Hotspur at Wembley in the semi-finals of the 2018 FA Cup competition in association with Emirates, and we're still waiting to see if we can get some interviews at the end of what's been, in the end, look, what might have been a pretty routine 2-0 victory for Manchester United, but is anything but, and I think that has to be mentioned, really. But Brighton really gave them a really hard game, and on another day, they would have won the game. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Cup football can be cruel, and that's just the way, I'm afraid, it is at the moment. But Brighton will leave 2-0 losers, but I've won a lot of friends the way they played at Old Trafford today, and their fans will be disappointed, of course, but will be proud of the way they fought throughout the 90 minutes. They just didn't have that cutting edge, possibly in the final third, to really give United that stern test. But United comfortably through in the end, after being made to push by a Brighton team who showed no mercy for a lot of it, and I thought their back four was exceptional. But United, after what was a terrible week by their own high standards, dumped out the Champions League against Seville when everybody thought that it was going to be a home banker for them in that particular competition. It wasn't to be that way, but they bounced back. But it wasn't the fluid best that United were, but they're still through though, 2-0 winners over Brighton and Hove Albion, who can now concentrate on getting potentially another 3 points, which should see them play Premier League football surely next season. I can't see them going down. So they've had a good season regardless, Brighton, and they should be proud of what they've achieved this season. The first win over Arsenal since 1982. We're waiting to hear from some of the people involved. Will we hear from Mourinho before the game? Let's just run you through the key opportunities. Brighton had one in the 32nd minute at 0-0. Lewis Dunk with a free-header by the penalty spot. If that goes another inch or two to the Romero's right, that goes in. And that was the difference in the end. 2 minutes later, it proved to be decisive, because this is Shaw picking the ball up, and then he feeds Matic first time cross, and Lukaku with a simple header to make it 1-0. Lovely left-footed cross there by Matic, and it was an easy header, and Dunk never stood a chance against a big, bulky Belgian. 51 minutes, Brighton had another opportunity here to make it 1-1, and this was Gross. He hits this terrifically with the right foot, and another day that would go in. It just needed to go a half a yard the other side of the post, and the goalkeeper, I have to say, Romero, was a very brave man letting that one go. He must have been super confident, because that wasn't far away. Then they had another chance in the 57th minute here, Brighton. And again, it came this time to the number 25. He struck the shot really well, and just for one moment then it looks as if they was going to get the equaliser, but Romero with the save. But then those missed chances really came back to haunt them. Young's free kick, Matic's header at the far post, and into the corner, 2-0. And United on course at the moment to equal Arsenal, who, if they win United, they will go level on 13 FA Cup triumphs with Arsenal. Spurs are third on 8. They could still add to their 8 FA Cup wins. They haven't won it since 91. Villa on 7, Chelsea on 7, Liverpool on 7. As regards FA Cup wins, and we're still waiting to hear from them. They play Swansea next up on the 31st of March after the international break. Then April the 7th. What a game that is. Manchester City against Manchester United. West Brom on the 15th, then on the 21st or the 22nd the semi-final, then on the 29th they play Arsenal. Earlier today, Swansea City were put to the sword by Tottenham Hotspur. This was the opening goal by Eriksen, 20 odd yards. It was one of the goals of the round, arguably, by Eriksen. A great finish into the far corner with his left foot. Terrific play. They didn't miss Harry Kane at all in that match, by the way. Then the second one just into the stoppage time period, and it was a great finish by Lamela. Goalkeeper never moved. Right footed shot again from the same side, but just to the left of the D as he struck it, and 2-0 it was. And then in the 62nd minute it was all over as a contest anyway. Some good build up play here and the ball hooked back into the path of Ericsson. Right foot, bang, in the net, 3-0. No chance for Fabianski. Low drive, very difficult for goalkeepers. And Tottenham were in comfortably into the semi-finals, which means that you need Swansea to go through. So let's hear from Pochettino, Mauricio Pochettino, after their win, as he spoke to the media afterwards.
The competition and now the semi-final are waiting for us in Wembley, and I think it's a good achievement for us, and so happy for our player, but for our fans too. I think Christian is so important player, and I think he will be a very important part of the team. So happy for him. He's a great player, and he's showing that. But I think the team make a very good collective performance. I think we are happy because we played the last week in 3 different competitions: Champions League, Premier League, and FA Cup, and the team playing with different names on the pitch keep the same level and the same performance. That is make us very, very proud.
That was Pochettino after Swansea, after his Tottenham team, but Swansea for the soul. We're still trying to get an interview with either Mourinho or Chris Hughton before we leave you, and we'll try and get an interview with those two before then. Tomorrow, two terrific, intriguing ties. Wigan against Southampton, and of course Chelsea against away at Leicester. In the Premier League earlier today, some big wins for Bournemouth. West Brom right in the black stuff now. They are 10 points from safety, 10 points behind West Ham, who are now 4th from bottom. A big win for Crystal Palace, who were at the bottom 3 at the start of the day. They won 2-0 at Huddersfield, which puts Huddersfield back in trouble again. They're looking over their shoulder to Yorkshire side, but 2 goals for Crystal Palace and a vital away win for them. And Stoke are in big trouble, beaten 2-1 at the Bet365 Stadium by Everton. In the late game at Anfield, it was an open and shut case. It was the Mohamed Salah show. 4 goals for him in a 5-0 victory over Watford, and it was so embarrassingly easy for Liverpool in that game as well. So Liverpool doing fantastically well. Champions League quarter-finalists, although they have to play Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. But the thing is, they may well have the advantage of being at home at Anfield first up. On a European night at Anfield, it's a totally different kettle of fish, because let's be honest, Manchester City do not do well at Anfield in any competition. So anything could happen there over 2 legs, and I might just say Liverpool have a chance of maybe winning the European Cup, although Real Madrid, Barcelona and Bayern Munich may well have a few arguments about that. But an intriguing quarter-final tie in prospect over 2 legs later on next month. In rugby, the Six Nations Championship, of course, finished today, and it was Ireland who finished with the Grand Slam. They beat England in the outstanding match at Twickenham this afternoon. 15 points. They won by 24 points to 15 to win the Grand Slam on St Patrick's Day. And I have to say, England look at absolute shambles at the moment. I've lost 3 on the spin after winning their first 2 against Italy and Wales. It looked as if England were going to win the Grand Slam, and then that reversed. Those 3 reverses on the last 3 games, away at Scotland and away in Paris against the French, and then earlier today against Ireland. I don't think it's enough to give Eddie Jones the boot, but a lot of pondering to do at Twickenham at the moment for England. A lot of soul searching for England rugby at the moment, but no soul searching for the Irish, really know if you play like that for the next 18 months, you have to consider a real threat to the Southern Hemisphere challenge at the next Rugby World Cup, which takes place in Japan next year. So Ireland, the toast of the Northern Hemisphere at the moment, they're the best in the Northern Hemisphere by none. At the moment we've got Spurs and Manchester United through, and tomorrow we'll have two outstanding quarterfinals for you. Manchester United, Wigan will play Chelsea, will play Southampton at the DW Stadium, and then at the King Power we will have the match between Leicester and Chelsea. And of course in the summer a different kind of cup competition will take place. The biggest show on earth, starting on June the 14th, 89 days away, and it will be a fest because the JB Clark YouTube channel will bring you some live commentary from that tournament. Not all the commentaries, of course, I won't be able to do them all, but there we are, 89 days time we will be bringing you the 2018 World Cup from Russia. But that's it from me. I don't think we're going to get any more interviews, but thank you very much for tuning in tonight. It's been an absolute amazing match to bring you tonight, but unfortunately for Brighton it just wasn't their day against the Manchester United side, who, let's be fair, they didn't play very well a lot of the time, but they just had the quality to see them over the line and through to the quarterfinals. The Joy Spurs in the draw takes place tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with another quarterfinal live for you. It's either going to be Wigan and Southampton or Leicester Chelsea. I have a feeling it may be the late kickoff, but we'll keep you up to date, and if we can't do the games live, there'll certainly be a delayed commentary of one of the two quarterfinals tomorrow night, but we'll keep you posted, of course, for any developments as that happens. But thank you very much for tuning in tonight. And we're a team way for United, but Brighton, far from disgraced, very lucky not to be playing extra time at the moment. But it's Matic and Lukaku who proved the difference against a plucky and brave Brighton side. United through to the quarterfinals. From me, JB, take care, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Until tomorrow, take care, good night now, bye.